Welcome to Forbes Talk Shop. I'm Spencer Dukoff, and today I'm joined by Hannah Bronfman, an entrepreneur, investor, and activist who's built a career around helping people feel good from the inside out. We'll talk about her daily routines, her approach to creativity, and the products that keep her energized, balanced, and inspired across everything she does. Hannah, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
You wear a lot of hats. You're a founder, a creator, a DJ, a mom. What's the through line that connects everything that you do?
I think community. When I spent my 20s as a DJ, the thing that really made that job so fun was obviously getting to play music, and perfect my craft. But it was really that I could watch this group of people just really have a great time. Yeah. And whether that's, me talking about community workouts, like when we're, all sweating together, or creating content. For me, it's really about just giving the community ways in which that they can either learn something, feel inspired or motivated, or just giving them kind of a space to come together. Community is definitely my through line.
Was there a turning point when you realized that wellness and creativity would be core to what you do?
It's funny, when I first started out sharing my life on the internet almost 15 years ago, it was really rooted in the fact that I was trying to reclaim my health. I had gone through something called leaky gut syndrome, and I just had started to dive into the world of like holistic modalities, and I just started sharing that online, and that's actually what started my career. And I think all of the other things were add-ons, and the real thing that kind of propelled me forward and let me kind of take a deeper dive into the world of wellness was this hyper curiosity around just the explosion that we have all seen as consumers of the wellness industry, and kind of living that and breathing that while it was on its up and up.
On this show, we talk a lot with successful people about their rituals and routines. So I want to kind of start things off chronologically at the start of a day. And how do your mornings usually start? Are they calm and mindful, or is it more quick and efficient and right into go mode?
It's funny because it used to be really quick, efficient, and right into go mode. And I spent a year in that sympathetic mode, and I have been really intentional about trying to start my day in the parasympathetic mode, and be really intentional with that first hour I have with my kids before we're out the door, like going to school. So I'm not on my phone for the first hour of my day. I'm hanging out with my kids. I'm either making them breakfast or my husband's making their breakfast, and I'm usually having a lymphatic tea, something that's got like lemon balm in it. It's got yerba mate, and so I'll have that. I'll have a big glass of water with like a pinch of mineral sea salt. Maybe I'll have like a greens powder or something if I feel like I need more hydration. I'm really bad at drinking water, so I tend to add a lot of things to my water so that I drink it. I love electrolytes, so I usually will also have a glass of electrolytes, but probably like a little later. I know you're going chronologically, so we're not there yet.
Yeah.
But and then I get my daughter dressed. My husband usually dresses my son. I do my daughter's hair, and then because this is the first year that my kids are going to school together and in the morning. And last year was such a hectic year for me. The past month and a half that we've been at school, I've been really enjoying taking my kids to school. So my husband is like, that's your thing, you're loving it, you do that. Some days he'll join me, but some days it's just me with the kids walking through the park, going to school, and really having that intentional chat with them and talking to them about, mantras that they can say to themselves of how they're going to show up at school, or, we also live near Washington Square Park, what we're seeing in the park, lots of questions arise around the park.
Yeah.
And then I start looking at my phone after I drop them off at around 9:15, and that's really when like my external day starts.
Cool. Yeah, that resonates, the kind of structured time of like you have a destination for drop off. Like I do that with my son at preschool, and it's like we have to get there by a certain time, but that period of time in between, leaving the house and getting there sometimes are the best moments, with kids.
100%.
On mornings when you're traveling or juggling multiple shoots, events, if you have to do a pitch presentation, if you have to be in front of people, what helps you stay consistent with your wellness habits?
Yeah, so I make myself like a loaded coffee, and that usually consists of 3 things. One is collagen, one is creatine, and then the other one is a nootropic creamer. So those are the 3 things I put in my coffee. Some days I'll have my coffee midday, but on a day where I'm juggling multiple things or I have to be in front of people earlier in the day, I do have that coffee like kind of first thing in the morning. But I prefer to have coffee after I've eaten. But because I'm putting protein and other things in my coffee, it doesn't bother my stomach to have that first thing in the morning. I just don't like to get in the habit of doing that. But when I'm juggling all of the things, I do feel like taking creatine, and sometimes even taking, I have this brand of adaptogens, and it's for energy and focus, and that helps me get like really like just clear on my day, my intentions, my and allowing me to be really present. I am really good at compartmentalizing, so if I am needing to give a presentation, I can really focus in on the task at hand, get in a mindset where I'm like prepared to go out and do that. And then once it's done, I look at the 100 texts I have on my phone, the missed calls, whatever. For that reason, I actually am not the emergency contact at my school, at my kid's school. My husband is, because I do live on Do Not Disturb, because I do have to be hyper present.
Yeah. Do you have any favorite productivity apps or planning? Like, you have to structure out your day. Like, what do you use tools to do that?
Yeah, so I use my Google Cal. I use ChatGPT. I use an app called Workhorse that's really great for content strategy, planning, and execution. I use, oh my God, this app, you guys are going to die if you haven't heard about Endel. It is a sound app, so I can get distracted pretty easily, but if I know that I need to bust out 40 minutes of work on my computer, I will put Endel on. So it's an app that has all of these different soundscapes. There's sounds for ADHD, there's sounds for focus, there's sounds for power naps, there's sounds for everything. And I will put it on a focus mode, productivity mode, pop that in, and I am like in a groove for 40 minutes, and you can time it whether you're a 20-minute block person or a 40-minute or you want an hour, whatever. My husband uses it religiously for power naps, and so love Endel. I do use Notion a little bit as well, and Instagram, TikTok, edits, threads. That's kind of all a part of my work, and I try to limit my time for scrolling. But it's also, I'm a big believer that you can't just come onto those platforms and post. It's really about engaging in the community. So I do also block time in my calendar to give myself that time to like all my comments, go through my DMs, check out what other people are doing and saying, and have some sort of like relevant discourse. And then Substack is just, my new obsession. And I have my Substack that I put out twice a week, one a free newsletter on Tuesdays and one behind a paywall on Fridays. And I spend a lot of time engaging in that community and posting things on that kind of posting wall, I don't know what maybe it's called Notes in that app. Anyway, so there are lots of things. They all revolve on my phone. But at the end of the day, I really try to be that person that I could like leave my phone in another room for 5 hours and like I'd be totally fine.
So. Can you tell me a little bit about your workspace or how you curate spaces to be productive? I mean, it sounds like you're on the move a lot. And so maybe it's not like I go to this one place, but like, can you tell me what you need in certain spaces to be really focused and creative? Honestly,
I feel like all I really need is my phone or my laptop or my notebook. If I have if I have all three of those things, great. If I have only one of those things, fine. Some days I'm craving a walk and I'll go outside and I'll pop my headphones in and maybe I'll find a burst of creativity. You know, on the blocks where I know that I need to be creating content, it's a pretty different setup than when it is like I need to strategize around a talk I'm giving. So there are these different spaces, and because I do live on the go, I try not to get too hyper specific on what I need in order to get things done. And I think as a mom, generally, we always are trying to like reach into our toolbox of things to magically pull shit out of a magic hat. And so I definitely am adaptable. And I think that my adaptable nature also comes from my upbringing. I'm the youngest of 3 kids, but the middle of 7. And so, you know, I live by going with the flow. I try not to be, I'm a people pleaser, but I also have, you know, things I'm trying to accomplish. So I try to move things along in a welcomed manner to achieve collective goals, and I just feel like that allows me like the adaptability of keeping things like easy and moving.
I want to talk about being a mom, because one of the things that I've realized as a dad of young kids is that there's no one size fits all in terms of the stuff that you need. We have stuff that was on our registry that did not work for us. There's stuff that baby 2 came around, we got, oh, this is so great. Were there any products or things that you use, especially like as a mom of babies or a mom of young kids, that have helped you, you know, be a more focused and present mom?
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny because, you know, with kid 1, I felt like we had all of these things, but it was the pandemic. Right? And so I felt like we didn't end up using a lot of them because we were just like so in our bubble, like we weren't going anywhere. And a lot of the products you get are based on like moving and being out and in the world and whatever. So baby number 2 was definitely a whole new experience because we were no longer just at home. We were back in everyday life. It actually was quite of a shock to have a baby in normal life than it was to have a baby during the pandemic.
We had the same thing.
It's kind of crazy. I'm like, wow, I can't believe like everyone has babies like this. Like they're just like, oh, back to work. Oh, we're like, got to go out to dinner. I was like, that was a blessing in a lot of ways to have such a calm, quiet time in our lives to be with our child. Anyway, products specifically, like, you know, I love a good on-the-go wipe. We have like a little diaper bag. I kind of like end up turning a lot of like my kind of chicer bags into a diaper bag and have like a bag in a bag. But I love the coterie wipes. I also love the water wipes. Always have those on hand. I even have those like the nose wipes, like the smaller ones, like always in my bag. Hand sanitizers, always. You know, like at this point, I have to have so many snacks. If I don't have a snack, it's like, and a variety of snacks. Like I've got to have 5 different snacks on hand. My kids, you know, love those like fruit leathers from Wegmans, and you know, there's this brand that has these like raw pizza crackers my kids love, whatever. We've gone through so many different strollers. Now we're really into the Cybex stroller. My son, it's only got one seat, and then my son sits on the bottom.
Yeah.
He's like, that's my spot. I'm okay, cool.
Yeah.
He like doesn't even want to do the thing on the back, like that seat thing. It's like he's rolling it down.
Under.
Yeah. But we're in such a different phase of life now than we were when they were babies. It's kind of hard to even like remember. But I love all the Hatch products.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with our Tony box.
Yeah. Same.
It's been amazing actually to transition them away from the iPad, but still engage them.
Yeah.
And so they've got so many different Tonys, and they love the Tony box. And my son is like just a Hot Wheels fanatic, so I always have Hot Wheels on me too.
Yeah.
And we try to put together like little bags of toys that are just good for going out to a restaurant or whatever, because we really try to like limit screen time.
Yeah.
But we also let our kids on screens. Like that's a big conversation in our household. We probably give them around 30 minutes a day on screens, and it's a fight that we don't necessarily need to have anymore because we have a roll around it, right? And it's just like this: you got 30 minutes, and you can break it up into 3 things of 10, whatever you want to do. But like unless it's the weekend and you want to watch a movie on the big screen, right? A TV.
Yeah.
What a concept.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
That's our house rule too. It's for the weekends.
Yeah.
And I think the screen time is such a conversation that all parents are having, because you also want to have a life and find a way to go places, but you need to have those boundaries too.
100%. I mean, my daughter is absolutely so obsessed with Moana, and to do her hair, I mean, I'm putting 10 minutes of Moana on. I mean, she literally introduces herself that she's from Motunui, so she's locked in.
My son wants to either be Moana or Elsa for Halloween.
Wait, I love
and
that.
And then the third option is a Minion. So one of those 3.
Okay, love that. We're thinking maybe my son loves Olaf, and my daughter loves Elsa or Anna.
Yeah.
So we're thinking maybe we could do a family thing there.
That's
my
good.
son is also obsessed with the Minions.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
Very cool. As a visible voice in wellness for years, what criteria, ingredients, sustainability, effectiveness, what have you, do you use to evaluate which products to champion or have partnerships with?
That's such a good question. There's so much noise out there in the supplement world, and I love something that's got a clinical trial, right? Like I think we really need clinical trials to understand if things are really effective. I would like to have them be science-based, that there's a real scientist or doctor that's also behind the product. I think there is a little bit of placebo that ends up coming into play here, but and wellness really isn't one size fits all, right? So something, let's just use like bloating pills, for instance, because everyone is looking for some sort of like way of not feeling bloated or dealing with their IBS or flat tummy or whatever it is. And it's like, okay, there's green powders, there's gummies, there's, pills. And I think at the end of the day, you got to figure out what's right for you. I'm a big advocate of enzymes. I think enzymes are tried and true. They're not adding something foreign, but it's rather something that's just going to help you digest better. That is the goal of, let's say, like a papaya enzyme. And so like I always say, like, start with the basics before you get into the fancy stuff. But there are these brands out there that people absolutely love. And if you are a consumer girly or guy who gets got with like the good marketing, then like, it is what it is. And people, listen, these brands are big because they've got such a cult following, because people say they do work, right? So I think it's a little bit of testing and trying out what works for you, and a little bit of real science. And like when it comes to skincare, it's like the same thing. Like there's, the efficacy of certain ingredients. What are the other ingredients that are in there that's going to make that hero active product be most efficacious? Like there are better formulas out there than others, and I think that there are some brands who are just always trying to use buzzwords versus like using ingredients that are really again, clinically shown to improve, whether it's hyperpigmentation or elasticity, or, you know, trying to really target fine lines and wrinkles. Like, you know, I think what we're seeing come out of Korea right now is really amazing on the innovation side. I like kind of exploring into that world a little bit more. But yeah, I get really excited about all these things. And so, you know, I will read a white paper on creatine. And I know that 80% of the creatines that are on the market don't work. So I go to brands that I think I really, really trust, that I've been using for decades, right? Like I use products from like Ritual or Thorne or Respiotic. Like these are brands that are less hypey and more like, I don't know, like clinical. And, you know, you can find a balance and a mix of both, but I prefer to like really be rooted in science and efficacy.
So we've talked about morning rituals, we've talked about work, creativity. I want to get to the wind down, just to wind down the interview and also understand your routine. You have pretty fantastic personal style. I think that's a given. But when you are trying to just be comfortable and just, you know, you're at home, like what are you wearing to be comfy and lazy and chill?
Love this question. I'm usually like in like a vintage tee that's oversized. Maybe I'm wearing a sweatshirt, maybe not. Maybe it's a zip up, maybe it's a hoodie. I'm usually definitely in a comfortable pant, whether that is like a sweatpant, or maybe it's like a drawstring pant, or even like a pajama pant. I like, you know, I'm not at home trying to like be fashionable in sweats. Like I'm just comfy. You know, there's like sweats you wear outside, which are like different than what you're talking about. So to me, it's like, you know, I just, or maybe I'm just like in a pair of boxers or something with a big oversized tee, and then I realize I can't walk around my house barefooted. I have to be wearing a shoe, like they're called Lusos. They're extremely comfortable. They come in all different like materials and kind of designs and styles. But this is like, I feel like this is like an old woman thing to say, but like I need arch support. So I have flat feet. So, you know, I feel like I actually feel more tired when my legs and my feet are aching. And they're aching because I'm not wearing the shoes. So, I've become a house shoe person as well. I wear the UFOS slides around, and I feel like those are for like post-workout, you know. Often for me, that's just post getting through the day. Totally. So last question before going to a quick final segment. Are there any wind down rituals or routines, things that you use to kind of signal to your body it's time to rest and recover? Absolutely. I live for my leg compression recovery. I think they're the Normatec. I love them. And when we are going to watch an episode, my husband and I bust them out. We do 30 minutes each, and that's our hour episode right there, and it's amazing. I also will either make myself like a sleepy time cocktail, mocktail, tea situation. Sometimes I'm having like a calm wind down THC gummy from a brand called the High Confectionery Co. I love their products. They're all 1 milligram gummies. So you can really like just ease into your night. They also have them for like uplifting and going out, if that's like what you're into as well. Because I sometimes am like, it's been a really long day and it's 6 o'clock and I have to go out for the evening and I don't want to be drinking so much. So I'll have 2 gummies and it's just like I'm chatting, it's great, and then like I'm home and I'm like ready for bed. So I like my wind down gummy, and I also try to not be on my phone for like if I'm gonna watch a show, that's gonna be the last thing I do before I go to bed. So maybe I'll have a half an hour on my phone before we watch the show, and we watch the show. You can't grab the phone again. Otherwise you're messing up all the work you just did by being away from your phone for that hour. And lately I actually have been reaching for my notebook and just jotting down a couple of things, whether they're to-dos or content ideas or just some thoughts I want to come back to.
Yeah.
I'll just jot them down before going to bed, and I sleep with an 8 sleep.
Okay, yeah.
And it's been life-changing.
Cool.
Absolutely life-changing.
Yeah.
I can't express actually how much it's changed my sleep. It's like proven to give you back almost an hour of quality sleep, and it makes me excited to go to bed because because I'm like a creature of the night, nightlife girly.
Yeah.
I can really like stay up past that natural melatonin window. But 8 sleep has actually made me so excited to get into bed and go to sleep and wake up and like get my bed vibrates and it wakes me up, and it's like so relaxing and so nice. I'm not like waking up with anxiety, and I get my stats, and it's I feel like I'm approaching my sleep era.
I know we're like in the middle of the day, but it's like talking about cozy clothes and sleeping and stuff. I'm like, it would be really nice to do that right now.
Totally.
Cool. Well, we are going to jump to our final segment, which is a lightning round of this or that question. The first one is this or that morning workout or evening stretch.
Morning workout.
Minimalist chic or statement fashion.
Minimalist chic.
Building a brand or investing in one.
Investing in one.
Cold plunge or infrared sauna.
Infrared sauna.
Do you do cold plunge at all?
I do.
Yeah.
But I only do it in the first 2 weeks of my cycle.
Okay. Yeah.
I could talk about this all day.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to dive in, but
Podcasts or playlists.
Ooh. Podcasts.
Brooklyn warehouse party or Broadway show.
That's hard. That's really hard. I'm usually going to the Broadway show and then the Brooklyn warehouse party.
Yeah, you're like, why do I have to choose? I'm Hannah Bronfman.
Yeah.
We're
doing dinner in between.
Yes.
Yeah.
Green juice or glass of wine?
Green juice. If you had said green juice or tequila, I would have gone with tequila. But since it was glass of wine, I'm going to go with green juice.
Great. City energy or island vibes?
Ooh. I think city energy.
And then lastly, defining success by joy or by impact?
That's really hard.
That's why I put it last.
Right now, I'm going to say I'm in my joy era.
Nice. Cool. Well, thank you so much for doing this. This has been great.
That was awesome.
Yeah. Hannah, thank you for sharing your routines, creative process, and favorite products with us today. You've built such a modern blueprint for balance, wellness, and creativity. We've linked Hannah's go-to products in the description below, and don't forget to subscribe for more Forbes Talk Shop episodes with the founders and creators shaping how we live, work, and recharge.